Hey everybody, Steve with Chocolatey Software. Today we're going to be covering Chocolatey's Intune integration, which allows you to take a Chocolatey package and convert it for use inside of your Intune tenants. So if you're using Microsoft's Endpoint Manager in the cloud, you're using Intune, you want to really quickly and easily streamline getting your applications into Intune and then subsequently deployed out via Intune, whether you push those out through Intune itself or use Company Portal. That's what this integration is for. So we're going to walk you through step by step kind of what it takes to get set up and started. And then we'll actually do the conversion of a Chocolatey package into an Intune package and push that up and show that all the way through. So to start off, we're going to go to docs.chocolatey.org. And if you look down here on the left-hand navigation, if you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see this third-party integration section. You can click on the Microsoft Intune section there, and then we'll say, go to this create an Azure AD application. So this will be step one. This is what you need to do first when you want to start using this. And this document outlines step by step with screenshots, logging into the Azure AD portal. This does have to happen in Azure AD. So portal.microsoft.com rather than in Intune, which is endpoint.microsoft.com, since they split and moved them. So this is in Azure AD. The first step is to create an Azure AD application. So you'll log into Azure AD, you'll click on app registrations, and then from there you'll click on a new registration. You'll fill in the name for your application, and that's it. You can leave everything else blank or default and click register. And then once that has been registered, inside of that new registration, you'll click API permissions. And once you're in there, you want to grab the user read, and you want to remove some permissions from that. From the API permissions list there. So you can see in this screenshot, we've got those user read permissions. Click the ellipses and then click delete. And then what we'll do is add a new permission to Microsoft Graph. We'll add an application permission. And then we'll find the device management apps read-write.all permission. And then we'll click the add permissions button here and then grant the consent. Next, you'll need to create a secret for your Azure AD application. So you head over to the certificates and secrets section. You'll say new client secret, give it some sort of description, and then whatever expiry you want. It defaults to 6 months. And then once you have created that, the value is only shown once. So make sure that you click the little copy button next to the value, or manually highlight that text and copy it and save it somewhere, like a password manager, for example. That's a good use of those. So make sure you grab that value because it won't be shown again. After you have that secret, we'll walk through getting the Azure AD application information. We need the client ID and the tenant ID. And if you go into the app registration page, just at the top level of the app registration for the registration you created above, you'll see the application client ID and the directory tenant ID. Just make note of those somewhere. Again, if you've got a password manager and you can like create a note or something in there, just stick that with your client secret. And here at the bottom, we walk through, these are the things that you need to get out of Azure AD. So you need that, again, tenant client ID, the Intune tenant quid, and the tenant client secret. And these are kind of what those are actually called in Intune and what they're referred to in Chocolatey. Once you have all of that set up, you can actually move over to your Chocolatey box and begin to set things up. So we'll switch tabs here and go to the Intune configuration and look at the different configuration values that you can set. So you can set the Intune tenant GUID, which ultimately becomes the source that you'll be pushing packages to, the authentication URL, the API URL, and some different retry and timeout and size constraints that you can set in the config. We'll only ever worry about doing the Intune tenant GUID here in this demo. I would recommend sticking with the defaults here for everything else, unless you really, really know what you're doing. Again, there's a section down here as well for API keys. So when you're saying Choco push any Chocolatey package, for example, it's typically Choco push path to the Chocolatey package that you're looking to push, and then what source do you want it to go to, and then what API key do you want to use to push that package. So in the case of Intune, the source is going to be that Intune tenant GUID, and then the API key is going to be the client ID separated by a colon, and then the client secret. And then further, once you review this document, there's also pages for converting a Chocolatey package to Intune. So you can see the command line, what that looks like, and then some examples as well. And then you've got another page for pushing those converted Intune packages into your Intune tenant. And again, examples are listed as well. So now that we've gone through the documentation, and just to highlight real quick, if you land on docs.chocolatey.org, for example, you can search for Intune here, and then you can see the Intune configuration, which will be the page that we were just on, that went over the Intune tenant GUID and the different timeouts and things. And then if you search for Intune again here, Microsoft Intune, that last result is going to take you to this page here that walks you through step by step with the screenshots of setting up that Azure AD app registration and getting all the information out of there that you need. So now that we've reviewed the docs, let's actually go check out what this looks like to set it up. So I've kind of staged a series of steps that you'll want to run on a machine where you're going to be pushing packages to Intune. And I recommend doing things in this order. So everything in Intune with our integration is technically still a preview feature. So we haven't officially brought it over into Chocolatey yet. It is in the product, but it's hidden behind the preview features flag. So to use this particular feature, you will want to enable allow preview features in your Chocolatey config. The next thing we're going to do, just so it makes life easier moving forward, is we're going to set that Intune tenant GUID to the value of whatever your Intune tenant GUID happens to be from the very first document we reviewed. For security purposes, I'm hiding mine here, but I've already got that set up on my system. And again, just to make life a little bit easier later when we go to actually push Intune packages, I'm going to configure the source of the Intune GUID, or the Intune tenant GUID rather, and then I'm going to save the key in this tenant client ID and this tenant client secret format separated by a colon there for later. That way I don't have to specify that key every time I'm attempting to push an Intune Win package. The very first time that you do any kind of conversion to an Intune package, we ensure that there are dependencies that go along with it. So Chocolatey itself, obviously you're going to need Chocolatey on the box to install the Chocolatey package. You need the Chocolatey extension so that we can validate your license, since this is a licensed feature. And additionally, you're going to need the Intune Win app utility for creating that Intune Win file. And you're also going to need the AZ Copy 10 package, which is just AZ Copy that allows for the upload of the Intune Win into your Intune tenant via the Graph API. So we'll grab those explicitly from the community repository. And actually, let me put the new URL in here, community.chocolatey.org. And then this line here will just ensure that whatever folder you're working out of, we'll just put the latest version of Chocolatey and the Chocolatey extension in that folder for you, so you've got them. And then from here, we can actually start to use this thing. So what I'm going to do is switch over to a regular PowerShell window, and I've created this C Intune Win directory already. And if we open up File Explorer here, you'll notice that I've gone ahead, I've already internalized the Chocolatey and Chocolatey extension packages into this folder, so that when we go to do our first conversion, we don't see any kind of errors and we don't have to wait on anything to happen. So I'm just going to copy this line here, and I'm going to paste it into this PowerShell session. And I'm going to let Chocolatey do its thing. Suppose I'm going to have to explicitly allow a source here. Apologies. There we go. So we'll get that Firefox package internalized. And then we'll do the convert. Choco convert. Let's find that Firefox snupkeg. Say to format equals Intune. And before I run that, I just want to show you that we've now got the Firefox snupkeg with the binaries included inside of it, and any dependencies that package needed as well. So the Chocolatey core extension is here in that folder as well. So now we'll do the conversion, and now we'll start to see some different things happening. So we'll first process that Firefox snupkeg, and it does take a couple of seconds for things to happen here. That's done. And now it's going to do the rest. It's going to do that Chocolatey nupkeg. It's going to do the Chocolatey extension nupkeg automatically for you, because we take those things as dependencies. So now that we have those things done, we can start to push these up to Intune. And actually, it is complaining about one thing here. It does want the Chocolatey license package to be in this folder as well. And I did not grab that one. So let me really quickly say Choco download Chocolatey-license. And this is a package that's already available in my repository. My internal repository. As part of Chocolatey for Business, we provide a PowerShell script called create licensed package that will create this package for you, so that you can upload it into your own internal repository as well. And that just takes the license file from the machine where you run that script and creates that package for you. It puts that license file into the tools folder and then writes a package such that when you install it somewhere else, it will put that license file into the correct location on the new machine. So now that we've got that done, let's go ahead and say Choco convert Chocolatey-license. Oops, I forgot the to format Intune, so it's going to yell at me. Format equals Intune. We're all human here, folks. Perfect. There we go. Now we have all those things. And I'm just going to quickly clear my screen and run a Choco source list just to show you that I don't actually have an Intune source defined here. It is in my Choco config. So I'm going to say Choco config get Intune tenant GUID. I'm just going to paste that out since this is a dev tenant. Now what I can do is say Choco push, and again, just to reference the PowerShell or the documentation rather. Once you have the, oops, I closed it, didn't I? I sure did. Let me get back to it here just to show you that we're on this pushing the converted packages. So we're going to say Choco push. We're going to give it that source, and we don't need to worry about this API key because I've already got it stored. Let me see. Firefox Intune win source equals, and then I'm going to put that GUID in here. And the very first time you push, it will attempt to, if you don't have already that Intune Win app util or the AZ10 or the AZ copy 10 package, it will attempt to install that from available sources. So if it doesn't have those two packages available on a source, you might have to go out to the community repository directly and get those. And that's why in this PowerShell script here, I explicitly said, hey, go find these from the community, because I knew that I didn't have them internally first. And you'll notice that, yes, I did ask for the Firefox Intune Win to be uploaded, but because we've set dependencies on the license, the extension, and Chocolatey itself, in the push knows what to do there to ensure that all of those things are actually pushed up at the same time, so that the Firefox package, once it's in Intune, actually works. So most of these will be relatively quick. Once we get to the actual Firefox one, I imagine that that'll take just a few seconds longer, since those binaries are now baked into that package, and it's considerably larger than the other ones. Yeah, it looks like it did all of our prereqs, and now it's doing the prerequisite dependent packages for Firefox itself. So Chocolatey Core extension is going up now. And then once that's done, it should move on to the actual Firefox package itself. Yep, there it goes. And like I said, this one will probably take just a little bit longer because it's a bit bigger. I could have picked a smaller package to internalize, I suppose. But while it's running, because this might take a little bit longer than I want it to, what we can do is switch over to this screen where I'm already logged into my test tenant, the Intune tenant. And we can go down here to apps, and then we can click all apps. And now we should see Chocolatey itself. We should see the license. We should see the license extension. And then there's the core extension as well. So, and then there's the the Mozilla Firefox application as well. So that's been uploaded. And once these are in here, if we click on Firefox, for example, just to show you, if we go to properties, we've read the new spec file and brought all of the information from the new spec file over into the metadata of the Intune package. So all of that good features and documentation that's in the new spec file is in the description. We grabbed as much as we could about the publisher and the version and all that good stuff from here. We've set the install command to Choco Upgrade Firefox and the uninstall command to Choco Uninstall Firefox. And you'll notice the source here is using a period. It's because the way Intune works is it's going to take that nupkeg or that Chocolatey package, and it's going to download it onto a temporary directory on the local system where you're installing it. And we're going to use that location as the source. So you don't need to have, per se, a repository server running and that package stored in the repository itself if you don't want to. It's a good idea to have one just as a backup and out-of-band type operation. Say Intune's having a problem or something like that, and you still need to deliver applications. Having those packages available in a repository server as a backup is probably not a bad idea. But if you just want to use Intune and not worry about a repository, you absolutely can. It works like that out of the box. And if we scroll down a little bit further, you'll notice that we don't have any dependencies in here yet because it's probably still in the process of uploading on the other side. But if we go back to apps and look at Chocolatey license, for example, and go to the properties of that one and scroll down, we've got some dependencies defined here. So we take the dependency on Chocolatey. So in order to install the license for Chocolatey, you need to have Chocolatey. So we make sure that that's on the box first, and then we install the license. And similarly, if you do the license extension, well, you need a valid license and you need Chocolatey. So we've plumbed that up that way as well. Just curious, is this? Yeah, that's been uploaded. So if we look in here and go to properties, we should see, yeah, there's the dependencies have been filled out now. So Firefox itself took a dependency on Chocolatey Core extensions. So we've wired that up. And also, since this is a licensed feature, you need the licensed extension to be able to install it. So we've wired that up. And again, because of the way the dependencies work, the licensed extension requires the Chocolatey license package, which requires the Chocolatey package. So when you deliver Firefox to an end user, you'll get all of those things if you don't already have them. And that's it. We don't do anything else at the minute. We don't do anything with supersedence because it's not available to us yet to start playing with and developing it. We don't do any sort of assignments or anything like that. So once the applications are in here, you will have to go in and create rules and all of that good stuff. Who gets what, when, sorts of things. So the only thing that the feature does right now is takes that Chocolatey package that you've got on your machine, puts it into an Intune format, and puts that application into Intune for you. But that's all there is to it. It's relatively quick, depending on the size of your package that you're wanting to do. It's just a couple of commands, and again, that last command was just Choco push, the name of the Intune Win file that you want to push, and then again that source of your Intune tenant quid. So absolutely doable, absolutely easy to do. It just looks a little daunting at first because there is a little bit of setup overhead there with getting that app registration done in your tenant and things like that. But that is the Intune integration. Reach out to sales@chocolatey.io if you are seeing this for the first time and are not a customer and you want to check it out and play with it. We're more than happy to talk to you, give you a trial, all that good stuff. If you're a current customer and you're using Intune or starting to use Intune and you didn't know this was a thing and you have questions, run Choco support from a command line, and that'll give you the contact information to get a hold of our support team here at Chocolatey, and we're more than happy to to walk you through it, answer questions, help you get it set up, whatever you need. Support's there for you. So reach out if you are a current Chocolatey customer. Again, my name is Steven. It's been great taking you through this new integration for Intune that we've put out. I hope you found it useful and enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.